Hello everyone, welcome to the Lightbringers podcast. I hope you're doing very well. I don't know what episode number we're on today because I've got to look, but that doesn't matter because we're here talking about Guild Wars 2 as we always are, and the camera's there and I haven't even got us on the thing yet, so it doesn't even matter if I'm looking at the camera, but we are going to look at the camera now. And they can hear you. It's fine. Hi.
Hey.
Onyx does. I still don't get this whole thing.
What are you all doing here?
What are we doing here? What are you
waving?
No, the whole two fingers thing.
Oh, it's like a peace sign.
But like why does
you flip it the other way? Would you want war?
I'm a weeb.
Is not doing it war?
I mean, it's like peace. Hi.
Just never really.
It's like cute. You could do like.
It's a cute thing. I mean.
Rock on.
No, that's rock on.
Stop, bra. This is like shredding the gnar.
Yeah.
This is like rock on.
Shredding the gnar.
This is if you're in the Illuminati.
No, that's the devil horns.
Yeah, it's like conspiracy theory, Illuminati hand signs that celebrities do.
What? Oh, is that like that? Do you have to do that though with your fingers?
I think it's like this.
Oh, I didn't see the finger underneath. It looks like a rabbit. You know when you make like shapes behind like a tarantula? What?
It's kind of spider-like. You see it?
I guess so. My fingers are kind of long. But like, you know when you were a kid and you used to get like a sheet and you used to have like, this is sounding weird now, and you would make like finger puppet shadow things. That's a rabbit or any kind of animal that has two ears and a mouth. I mean,
shadow puppetry.
Shadow puppetry, that's the one.
Yes.
In case you didn't notice, this is probably going to be a bit of a podcast where we just talk about random stuff today. Mostly because I'm kind of in that mode myself. Life's, well, there's loads of stuff going on in the world, and I thought, you know what? And honestly, there isn't that much going on in Guild Wars 2 right now. It just isn't. I mean, there isn't really news. There's people are just playing through the things. They're grinding for the legendary armor. You cannot play a game where something is happening every single week, unless you're playing Helldivers 2. And, you know, that is the case.
If you can play it.
If you can play it, that's true. That's true. Or you don't get kicked by the end.
Or get crashed or accidentally take someone's special weapon and then get so embarrassed that you log out.
Did you do that?
I did.
You don't. People
it was
bring
my
them
third
down
game.
For people sometimes.
I got scared. They started talking to me and I said, I'm usually really good in these types of situations, but it was a new game, so I felt like I had no
rights.
No right to be there. I had no
imposter syndrome.
So I just went, I'm gonna just leave the game.
You did not get involved in the democracy that day.
No, I thought let's do communism.
That's probably better than what they're doing, to be fair.
Everyone was leaving, so I said I'll join in too.
I get that kind of communism. I understand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm not allowed to talk about politics. I have a note from my mum.
You've been barred.
It's okay.
I am a rabid. I'm a rabid lefty, so I'm not allowed to talk about politics.
I mean, I am as well, so I get it. It's okay.
See, Soap Bubble gets me. Soap Bubble, I definitely went through those motions.
D school game, throw PC away.
I said, let me just get a one-way ticket on a rocket to Mars and just never come back. I said, oop, my bad, chief. I'll see myself out.
That's fairly wild.
A little bit.
I have super low embarrassment threshold as well. I will get embarrassed for other people, and then I can't, like, there are certain television shows I can't watch because it's so cringe.
There's secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Like people singing shows when they're bad. I can't.
People singing in shows when they're bad. Oh,
Yeah, like,
singing
You know, like
in shows.
singing,
Got Talent.
singing competitions, or just other competitive shows where you have to showcase a talent or
Yeah.
rise to an occasion, and you just
Yeah.
don't. I've gotten actually better. I can watch those for the most part, but there are certain things where I'm like, I physically need to leave the room.
I can't watch The Office. It's too much.
What?
It's just
Oh,
too
I
much,
love
man.
The Office for that
Fuck,
very
it's too
reason.
much. No. Oh, the cringe is too much.
It is, yeah. It
From The
is hardcore.
Office? Are we talking about the UK Office or the
English
American
one,
Office?
probably.
The
Or both.
English Office.
The
with
English
Ricky,
one
Ricky
is
Gervais.
worse.
Oh my
The English
god.
one is
Oh my
worse than
god.
the American. Not in
I
terms of
have
good,
heard that.
but like like that kind of the secondhand embarrassment stuff, because it was produced a bit earlier, so it's a little bit more un-PC than
Just a bit dated.
I mean, it's Ricky Gervais. What do you expect? I mean, the man is a lunatic.
Yeah, he does not care. I'm very much on the fence about whether or not I like him, but he did make a really, really good comedy about loss, which he was very good in and was very good. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
He's I don't think he thinks the things he talks about often. I think he just talks about them out loud and doesn't really realize that sometimes he's skirting the edge of being a complete asshole. So
I think that older comics are facing facing a paradigm shift in how what people will accept them to take the piss out of, and I think they're not happy about it. But they just sound exactly the same to me as the people who used to talk about beating up their wives and think that was funny.
Yeah.
It used to be acceptable. It ain't no more. People don't like it. Suck it up, bitch. Go cry to somebody else about it.
Amazing.
Sorry.
This is truly going to be a random podcast. We're going to be floating around.
This really will be. Do you have any notes? Like
No.
No? Great.
I have some questions in my head though, so we're good. First of all, let's kill some time with an intro. Truth, tell us what you're doing.
Okay, how much time do you need me to kill? Because I can just improv this. I can just keep talking. Give me a mic and I will talk.
You can do the intro. You can do your normal one. I've got questions to ask you guys, so don't worry.
Hi guys, I just want to take a moment out of my day and also your days, because I'm selfish, to say thank you for coming here. It really means a lot to me, and I don't know where I would be without the Lightbringers podcast and all of you watching at home, or even if you're not at home, you might be at work, and if you're at work, please continue watching on company time. Take a break, go to the bathroom on company time, get lunch on company time, do what you gotta do, because let me tell you, companies will get rid of you like it's no problem. So this is your reminder to piss on company time. You might be wondering who I am. I'm Kroof, and I am the head at marketing at Marketing McMarketing Management Co-Fund at all. And I want to say thank you for popping into the podcast. This has been my seminar on how to steal from company time.
Okay. Do you have a YouTube? You give these kinds of tips?
I do have a YouTube. If you are interested, you can find me over at Mr. Beast over on YouTube. Just a small production, indie, I'm trying to get my
Or
bearings.
Kroof on YouTube.
Indispensable guide on how to masturbate at work and not get caught. Right on
Fornax!
Damn, I didn't know that you stole my notes for my next
So
seminar.
I'm probably going to have to mark this one as a little bit more adult oriented.
It's okay.
I think this is going to be the more adult one. I'll do that as a test. We'll see. Because we're
But
not
I
intended
did-
for children whatsoever. That little tick box on
No.
YouTube. Was this a naughty podcast? Not
Santa's
than
checking
the
his
other
list.
ones, or just in general? Yeah, probably a little bit.
But I did release a new video after 3 months of silence, which I got an email from YouTube that was literally like, "You've been away for 100 days." And I was like, thanks. Fuck me, I guess.
Was it
Ooh, I
really?
swore. Yeah, they
I
were
think
like,
we've-
"You haven't uploaded a video." And I was like, what? Okay. I was like, damn, not the higher ups coming to me. It was an automated thing. But I released a video and
Yeah, it was the
It was a little
CEO of
review.
YouTube. Just
Yeah.
emailing crew.
Yeah.
Has it really been 3 months since you did a video?
Yeah, it was a while.
Wow.
But it was nice taking a break from something and then editing again. I saw everything from like a fresh perspective, and I got like the anxiety like butterflies when I uploaded the video after a while. And I was like, I hadn't done this in so long. It was like I was uploading again for the first time.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Oh, that was the Guild Wars 2 in 2024 video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also really liked making that thumbnail. I don't know what happened, but I snapped. I was like, ooh, I like that thumbnail.
Yeah, it's a good one. It is a good one. I've been working on mine for my Marvel Snap channel a little bit more, but I don't put myself in them. But this one's good. I like the one with the hat and all this stuff. Very good.
You should definitely share your handsome self with the internet, Jebro. You really should.
Oh, that's nice. No. Thank you for the compliment. I mean, they see my face when I'm doing the video, if that helps. They can see my face now.
It's true.
Tip me. Fornex.
He will shake it, baby. He will. Yeah.
Shake my hand like this. Not that. I used to have a dance command. There is actually a couple of questions in chat. We're going to get to Fornex after you've done your intro as well. What you do, where you do it. Do you like cake? Cake.
Who, me?
Yeah, you're the only other person left.
Honestly, I also did not know what Jebro was saying. You're not alone.
Oh, okay. It's all right.
Hey.
I'm getting used to the silence in my brain today. This is like, happening.
The voices have gone. Help me.
They have. I don't know what's happening.
You lucky bastard. Hey.
Very true.
Hey, I'm Fornex. I make content over on YouTube. I've had a short break because I've been having a bit of a medical emergency. But I was editing today and I'm doing a breakdown of all the things I think are wrong with the Nayos story. And all the things I think are good, but all the things I think are wrong with the Nayos
interesting.
story. So I'm actually putting it into it's kind of like a love letter or something like that to future expansions, hoping that some of the pitfalls that I think we've all experienced with the story of Nayos don't happen again. I don't think it's necessary for them to happen again, even within the limited resources.
Feedback video kind of thing?
I think I crashed.
I
Oh,
guess
no.
it is. I guess it's...
Cruz crashed in the most random time. Look at Cruz's face.
Did I? Ooh,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I don't think we can hear Cruz.
Hello, Croofty gone. No.
I have
That is
got.
a fantastic shot, though.
It is. That's amazing. I've snipped it for future prosperity. My PC crashed. Be right back.
Oh, bless. Oh, bless. Damn.
That is so good. It's like literally the feeling that happens when someone's feeling. Please, I have snipped this as well.
That's everyone every time I speak. That's just the face that they automatically make.
It's so good. I wonder, hopefully they see this when they come. I can't do anything about it. I mean, I can remove them, but I kind of don't want to at the same time.
No. Just that can be the they're at the top of the road.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I am gonna wait. Let me just.
Should I fill with what my video is going to be about?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we can.
Okay.
It's easy to talk. Oh no! I was about to clip it somewhere else.
Damn.
Croof,
Here we are. We're back.
Croof, do you
Welcome
realize
back.
I clipped it on my other PC and it's amazing, but
The face.
yeah, I can't show you yet because it's on my other PC, but it's very good. Wait,
It's very
actually,
cute.
wait. Let me just put it back to this, then I can do it.
I saw the frame. Everything just froze on my screens, and then I was like, "Oh, okay. Of all the frames to stop at, thank you.
It's in our chat on the stream thing when you click on the little chat bubble if you want to look.
You do look like the saddest teddy bear in the lot. You really do. You've got
That should be your new. That should be your new. I reckon that should honestly be a new Twitch avatar, at least,
pretty good.
or your Twitter avatar. One of the two. It's very good. Have you seen it? Yeah.
Hold on, I saw it a little bit. Let me see.
So good.
This is too much. What are we doing here?
Can you see?
What are we? Did you send it on like our Discord stream chat?
Yeah. So you know when in the Discord we're in right now doing this, you click the little
Discord's
bubble.
not loading those messages. Hold on.
Oh, okay. I'm waiting for a live reaction.
No. No pressure.
I don't think we'll
darling.
get that live reaction. Just send it in the Lightbringers.
There we go.
Because it's not sending.
go.
It's not.
Give me a sec. This is important. Apparently, I need to do this right now.
This is too much.
Wait! Don't react.
I do look so sad.
Yeah, so sad. What a sad podcast
See,
we are today.
My PC just knew what face I needed to make in the event of it crashing, so it was very on brand. It was very on.
It was
theme.
very emotive. Yeah. Very
Yeah,
emotive.
it said and sadness. Perfect.
Yeah. Give us ultimate sadness. Thanks. Unfortunate. Okay. Crew, Phonics also did the thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and check out their video when it comes out because it's not out yet, right?
It really, really isn't. No.
Oh, okay. So it's gonna be a bit.
Unfortunately, definitely not.
Are you gonna save it to the end of the whole story, or are you gonna do it like?
I mean, it's kind of a prayer for the third installment of Nayos to be actually awesome. It's kind of like, you know, I'm offering up my prayers to the internet gods for it to be more delivering of the things that people want in terms of the narrative and the story. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Coom transmission
What?
says, I don't know what that word is. I'm sorry, that's your name in Twitch. That's really rude. By the way, while listening to the previous episodes, a discussion about the Wizard's Vault caught my attention. You were talking about what those who don't have the SOTO expansion can buy in the vault. I have other expansions except SOTO, and I can't buy any other cosmetics except the Bless emote. The Legendary Starter Kit and Heavy Crafting Bag are also SOTO exclusives. I didn't know that actually, about the Legendary Starter Kit and the Heavy Crafting Bag and stuff. I can't buy any other cosmetics. And then there's that stuff. The Legendary Starter Kit is really only... Wow, that seems
I didn't know
interesting. That seems a bit kind of... I don't like that, actually. I'm not sure I enjoy that. What do you think?
I feel indifferent. I don't like. I think as long as you own the expansions, you should be able to get that at least.
Even if you own one, right?
But I can understand why they wouldn't really want it for free-to-play players because of the ability to
because they
maybe
can sell
inflate marketing or
Can you sell
selling it.
Can you sell the?
I think you
pre?
can. You can sell the precursors. I'm pretty sure. So the
That would make sense.
So I'm not sure what type of, flagging they do on their backend system. If it's like you either have SOTO or you don't to determine which cosmetics you get. So that might be why you can't. But I think if you have purchased the expansions, you should be able, I think that would be nice to at least switch that on for those players.
That makes sense though. Good job.
I mean, so the original Gen 1 legendaries, I think, should be available through this for people who have the base. And then if you've got Heart of Thorns as well, that opens up the Heart of Thorns and so on and so forth. So that, it's I mean, I guess you do get a lot of bang for your buck with the free-to-play game. And you do get a lot of bang for your buck for all the expansions that they get, especially I think they've had some like, crazy sale on at the moment with like 75% off like most of the older expansions. So you get a huge amount of game for your money. But it does seem a bit sad that they haven't substituted in some sort of, if you're a free-to-play account, then you get vanilla rewards from
Yeah, but
that would be nice.
They do have, bot farming and stuff, so they could flood the market with legendary, like, if you can sell the precursor. I might log into the game now.
I don't think. I think it's account bound once you've got it.
I feel like you're right. You know what? I'm gonna go and select one now because I've actually got one.
I've got one sat in my bank and it's account bound.
Oh, you've got one you just checked? No,
I remember.
Wow,
remember.
memory. Okay.
Occasionally.
Amazing.
Not where my keys are, but that I remember.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good.
That's
so yeah, if it's account bound, then yeah. I mean, and also it is a base. It's the Gen 1 thing anyway, so that would make sense to do that.
I mean, if it was only even if it was only one Gen 1 legendary that they get the little boost for in every 3 months or every month as they're changing up the thing, at least it's something. Because it's such, as you've experienced yourself, it's such a thing that gets people in and gets people wanting to play through content and get that astral acclaim. And if you want to convert a free-to-play account into a paid account, I can't think of a better. I mean, yes, have some sort of leg on the side saying, well, if you want to have this lovely thing, then you have to buy it, of course. But showing goodwill and showing but even if you can't afford it, here's some nice things that you can get. All vanilla items, nothing that you couldn't get in another game type, but here they are on the thing. If you don't want to have to go and do dungeons, or just something a little bit of ankle.
That is interesting. Okay, well maybe maybe they'll listen to this and they'll be like, oh yeah, maybe we could change that. And then I would get it if they had other stuff or if they brought in like starter packs for other legendaries. Obviously it wouldn't be a precursor for like one of the Gen 2 ones where you need to do the story, etc. But like, I don't know if they would ever do that actually. Do you think they would ever bring in other generation starter packs? Because I guess what would you do? What would you give people? I mean, I guess you could give people the precursor from Ender Dragons, right? Because that was pretty. We just got that, right? Like, we got one free, didn't we? With the experience, I can't remember why we got that.
We did, I think, for pre-purchase.
Was it or was it finishing the story?
It was, I think, doing the big meta achievement.
Yeah, that's right. So maybe
something before the expansion launched.
So maybe not then.
But precursors aren't the only thing that you need when you're crafting a legendary weapon.
That's true.
And therefore, there were any number of boosty type things that they could have. They could differentiate rather than giving people a precursor. You could give them a hand up with other things. Although saying that, laurels are already on there. If free-to-play accounts can use them.
That's true.
Coins are already on there because that's a huge amount of the process.
Obsidian shards.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, there is. I'm just I'm in the game right now looking at the. I really do still think that the Wizard's Vault is probably one of the best additions to the expansion. I'm just like, I think it's so good.
In terms of like a longevity, it has, a lot of potential to just like forevermore. I imagine the Wizard's Vault will stay in Guild Wars 2 for the rest of its life cycle.
Oh yeah,
it's really solid. So
it's easily one of the best.
Never mind. Gen 1s are collectible on free to play. Yeah. They absolutely are. I know because I crafted 2 legendaries in vanilla. God help me. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that must have been
back when it was real expensive.
I mean, I did
I sold my children. It was
rifle.
fine.
Oh my god, that laugh! Sorry. Oh my god. Amazing. Yeah, I still haven't got any of the Solar Astroblade selection box weapons yet. Actually, I think I do need to maybe get some of those. Have a look.
They're quite pretty.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
They are.
Talked about that.
I've collected
greatsword is
a
very
good
nice.
amount. I like the greatsword a lot, and even the regular normal sword. It's a good set. The staff is okay. There's always I'm such a staff aficionado and lover that there's always something about them for my personal taste that I'm like, oh, if it was just a little bit different, or it was angled slightly different, I'd be like, ah, yes. So I'm very much critical of different staff skins, but it's a very good set.
Also, how far they sit up on your back when they're sheathed as well. Oh my god. Oh my
And
god.
how tall they are just in general. Sometimes I'm like, that staff deserves to be like leaps and bounds above your character. But then it's like, just right here. And you're like, oh.
Shao. Although I do like all the Astral Acclaim stuff much better than the Abattoir Chic shit that we got in the expansion. I don't like the fleshy weapons. I'm a vegetarian. It damages my sensibilities. I don't want like bony, smelly, disgusting stuff close to my face.
I got all of that
high
just
ick factor.
to like scold you one day in a podcast. I got it. I got it all on purpose. I literally did it during a stream, and I was like, "This is for Fornax."
I love the flash weapons. You know, there's a lot of creativity that you can explore with those different skins, and even the armor sets are kind of fleshy at times. So, you know, multi-purpose.
I'm gonna give.
It's not just a focus.
True.
It's a fill in the blank.
I'm gonna give us some in-game footage. Let me know, stream, if we are having any issues, because I know we did in the past. So, if there ever any,
I have a
you have a what?
I have a friend who
friends!
Specifically, I do. I have just one, right? That's the only one that will talk to me.
Okay.
And they have a Sylvari character, and they've kind of styled it so it looks like a Cryptus. It looks like a peeled Sylvari, and they've got all the most disturbing looking weapons that you can imagine. The flesh stick and the eye bubbly things. And the shiver and the cringy type, clawy, weird emotes and stuff. And they do enjoy like chasing me around the guild hall, tormenting me. It's quite fun.
That is great.
It's something to do on a Saturday, you know?
Is it the... Sounds interesting.
Every time I eat artichoke hearts, I'm just gonna think of a peeled Sylvari. I'm just peeling back Sylvari.
Artichoke hearts, yeah.
Actually, it's Enlin in the chat. Hey, Enlin. Also, hey, Kit. How you doing, hon?
It's your friend who's in the chat right now.
My only friend has come. Hi.
Oh my god, it's so nice to meet you.
It's an honor and a privilege
to meet your only friend.
Only friend.
I'm trying to look at the stuff in the gem store. There is actually lots of sales in March right now as well. If you are trying to get some, I will probably go for the 25 keys just because we get gems as ANET partners. Otherwise, I would never get the keys because I don't like gambling stuff. Not fun.
Yes, but your brain likes to gamble. Oh, give you the gamble.
I think that there's definitely
a hairstyle contract.
I got that. Did I ever tell you about that?
What?
Yeah, I got it.
When was this?
I got the hairstyle contract from a Black Lion chest. From the thing. Oh, this was like last year, and I didn't sell it or do anything with it because I like the hairstyles of my characters. Like I was legitimately never gonna use it, and I sold it.
So
for
why
like
didn't you sell?
3K. Yeah, I sold it for like 2 or 3K gold.
Okay.
It was amazing because it's like funded 2 or 3 legendaries so far. Yeah, really. In the chat, it's just like really sad about that because like everyone was like. And I had the logic of the mod reader geek and good friend who was like, you are never going to use this thing. You are just never going to use it. Like, what's the point? I was like, yeah, but it's a thing and I can't get rid of it because I might need it one day. You know, like anything. I'm just like, I keep the most random stuff. Like, please believe. Like, the other day, I've got posters for work to put on my wall and frames and stuff. I kept one of the little corner bits that keeps the frame from getting scuffed in the mail. I just kept it. And I'm like, why?
Just one of them?
In case,
the end
yeah, just
times
one of them.
I will need this.
But why just one?
Because I lost the others. But
Okay. I was like,
but the thing is even more pointless because
you might
like
need to dissect that a little bit.
I was like, what if I move and I like put the frame in my car and I need something to protect it? And I'm
You
like,
can always just purchase more.
but
you know,
also I don't
frame
need
protectors.
it. Like, I just don't need it anyways. It's completely pointless. So I've been working on trying to throw things away more. It's so funny.
Honestly, I needed to do that
gonna-
with clothes.
Yeah, I'm really bad with clothes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you a picture of my drawer before we sign off tonight,
Okay.
which is full of those little corners. 'Cause
Oh, you're
I
joking? No
don't
way!
Really?
That's
I got a
amazing.
load of frames.
Oh my god, you've got a
it's
drawer
so
of
good.
corners? That's amazing.
I do.
I
It's
feel
not.
so vindicated
it's
right
a
now.
sign of my illness. It's a sign of
Hey,
my mental
Fornex
illness,
actually has
okay?
more than one, so
Yeah, that's
Fornex
true.
can utilize them.
You could probably
have
sell them.
one.
Yes,
You could probably
Mm.
sell them like on eBay or something. Like actually sell
absolutely
them.
treasure trove. Funding my retirement with corners. This is the plan.
With corners.
You're like, when push comes to shove, we're gonna have to sell the corner protectors. They're the first to go.
They are the first to go. It's true.
I'm ready for the apocalypse with my corner protectors.
I mean, they could
Make a
be
suit
used.
of armor out of it.
Yeah,
I mean, you could.
I am like 10% prepper. I'm a little bit prepper, so forgive me. Okay, I can't help
In the
myself.
future, do you have like a shelter stuff?
We have like a generator and things like that, just in case.
That's good.
Wow.
And we have like
That's
one.
awesome.
We have one in the living room, which protects the internet, so that if the power goes out in the house, the internet will work for about 10 hours. So
I mean, that's
life
just
without the internet
that's
is
just
just not
important to be fair.
So we are
It
getting
is.
this WoW raid clear. Through power outages or not.
Yeah.
What was the fleshy weapon set called? Do you remember? Just a random side.
Serix.
Seric? C?
S.
S.
Oh, Ser. I spelled that wrong again.
SARYX.
S-A. Ah. Wow. There we go. I see. Okay. I'm just going to put it on
They
screen.
ugly.
Just because, Fornax really enjoys these weapons.
Well,
They
really.
are breathing weapons.
Kind of looks like a harp. Like I could like pluck
The
those
greatsword?
tendons.
Yeah, I know, right? It is alive. I mean, it feels like an actual... I mean, the hammer? Look at the hammer. Oh, God, damn. Look at the middle.
What that mouth do?
Is it a mouth?
Mm,
Is it? And it looks like it's got some teeth there, I guess. But it's kind of
is it a
gross.
mouth or a conjoined twin? We don't know. Do we care?
I think these
Little-
weapons are actually pretty good. Like, I don't use them for my characters. Like, if I was gonna walk around and like potentially stalk Fornax with them, maybe. Like, yeah, I guess so.
Quill has a good point. It does have a little bit of happy pride. What
What?
you get up to at the end of your pride parade gigs, you know. For the people that get it, and the girls that don't.
Okay, cool.
Let's give it a little of that.
I couldn't. What
I'm
kind of flesh
confused.
weapon horrors are you doing at the end of your?
The hammer, the
Matches?
hammer.
Jesus
No, the
Christ.
hammer.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm
Okay.
there. I'm there. Oh, the
Just
great
make sure
sword is
you've got
good.
your tetanus shots, people, for fuck's
Yeah,
sake.
that's true.
And don't put live things
Smash.
into any of your body parts, please, for God's sake.
Do you want me to put dead
Pride
things
or
inside my
not.
body parts?
I mean, look at the pistol,
No,
though.
I mean, Jesus. Oh, it's just it's
really,
grim.
I
mean,
can't.
I mean, it is a bold move of them. I mean, it's a very bold move of them to have weapons that are basically just like orifices.
The June buckets. I'm
It's
sorry.
the Dune bucket. It's the Dune bucket. Oh my.
Oh wow, I never noticed the scepter before. It's like both sides.
It's nice, yeah.
There's another one. There's another layer to this. This is like the fresh looking dead stuff.
Yeah.
There is
Oh, yeah.
another layer to this where it's
These
it's worse.
Yeah,
These are just
it's gray.
more fucked up. Yeah,
It's more gray, and there's like, I love this one though, having like the
which
magic
one?
around it, because it actually kind of like
Oh.
evokes the sense that they're like feasting on the magic or essence.
Okay, yeah, I see. That's
So I like
cool.
those.
Oh
it's
yeah,
a
what was
staff
this
is-
one,
civilization
then?
of like
Oh, the
rot and fester.
The focus is actually pretty
yeah.
good. I like the focus. The torch is like, isn't that painful? It's on fire.
I mean, they're entirely thematic. They work well with the kind of grim fairy tale that.
Oh, that war horn.
I know. I never actually looked at the warhead. You're right, Crying Narod. Oh my god,
nightmare.
you're blowing it.
And you know what? I kind of
Sorry.
Nightmare fleshlight. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean,
Wow,
goodness me.
I was like, you're blowing it. It's sucking it.
Oh my god.
Okay, this is not. Please, this is not intent. This is a mature audience.
Oh my god.
Anyways, okay, so
The stream is always intended for a mature audience, honestly. Like,
I will
the
say
YouTube video might be a little bit. I will probably I will put a light on it, I think. I don't care though.
I find these weapons to kind of evoke what I wanted the Cryptis to be a bit more about.
Sure.
Because the
Wait,
Cryptis
what?
are not necessarily as fleshy as a model when you look at them. To me, they read more bone and more exoskeleton.
Yeah.
Like having a fleshy demonic similar to like Kanexai. And I'm like, I kind of wish I saw some posts about the Cryptis a couple days ago as like who the Cryptis are and what they are physically represented as in the real world of, Nayos and, Tyria, and having that enemy faction. And it does kind of make me want more of this aesthetic and more of that flesh and that like everything is very deformed in a way that reads like fleshy demon rather than just skeletal things floating around in a mass.
I mean, they do feel so
True.
ephemeral. They seem so disconnected. They're not the kind of rotting corpse horror that I thought that they were going to be. I genuinely agree, and I'm still curious as to why some of them are more solid, and others are more holy,
Yes.
see-through, discombobulated.
And it also just goes to like the hierarchy of the demons, how some of them don't speak and cannot speak, and others can have full-on conversations in English, and like have a very at least also the direction of the voice of the Cryptis. It's very, I don't know, real world, modern English. There's no like flair to it that is like, oh, that's otherworldly or like strange. But maybe it's because they like feed off of other realms. It's kind of why you can kind of write it away and be like, it makes sense in the end. But someone did mention that, and I was like, oh, that was something I hadn't really thought about, was also just the vocal presentation of the Cryptis.
What about the villagers, though? Because like there must be some theory about that, because they're pretty like together, they're pretty like formed.
Oh, the Cryptis, the Quaggin Cryptis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wonder about that, I guess. I'm going to go and find that out right now, actually.
I mean, we're filling in the blanks, aren't we? And we're doing that a lot for a lot of the lore, because the story has not been fleshed out by the map.
It's just so good. The puns are just going to keep coming out today. Sorry, it was very good. Unintended.
That was entirely unintended.
Yeah, it was just
Sorry.
good. Very good. Sorry. Should have left that one.
Yeah. Which is like half the critique that I have for the story in the video coming up. It's that we have a story. They don't have masses of resources or time to get us from A to B of this story. They're kind of bridging content to the next expansion, and instead of supplementing the narrative experience with cohesive stories which flesh out, fill in, and give depth to the main narrative that's happening on our storyline, they've decided to do disparate stories on the map that don't that don't push it along, and yet the map naming conventions would suggest that this is Hater's territory, at least in the first map, and we don't see sight and sound of her. We've
It was
literally
Ignaxius.
murdered. Yeah, exactly. Who the fuck is he? And we literally murdered her partner, and we see her once. One time.
Yeah, I thought she was
could
going to
have
be
been
like
looming on the map.
I agree. I'd agree on that one. That is very unfortunate. Yeah, I thought and the voice acting was good for her as well. I thought, like, you know,
They had all the elements that they needed.
Absolutely. Should I tell you who I care less about than I thought I would care about as well overall in this expansion?
Patha?
No.
Can't be Leah.
I mean, you're not naming one of the main characters of this expansion so far. Well, I mean, don't even know she's one of the main characters.
Is Garen?
Nope.
Patha.
I think more original
Oh.
characters.
Like OG
Zoja,
cast?
You don't care. You don't care about
Zoja.
Zoja at all.
Interesting.
I love Felicia Day I love Felicia Day to bits. And like we haven't had anything else about Zoja really, other than they're doing the convergences, and that's kind of where they are. And I think it's, you know, one of the things is getting them in to do VA, like always, is going to be difficult enough as it is, right? But at the same time, what? The expansion was like a lot, like the original announcement was like, whoa, Zoja is back and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, they are, aren't they?
It is a bit strange because we haven't really seen much of her post ascension as like a wizard. And
I get it for here because they're not sending their forces, right? But still, it seems weird that to have her so involved in this expansion and not really be present for half of it.
I think that this formatting of the expansion storyline finished at the end of Secrets of the Obscure as they told us before it actually released, and then the 3 updates were a different storyline that had their own, you know, plot line and conclusion. But to have them packaged under the same umbrella of Secrets of the Obscure, it does make me miss those characters that were introduced at the start of the expansion, like Zoja, Isgaren, well, which was a bit later, Lear.
Yeah, I mean, come on, that is a tragedy.
Disconnected.
That is a bloody tragedy. That is the dwarf. Well, I mean, come on. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but Jesus.
And they pop up every once in a while, which is a nice reminder that you're in Secrets of the Obscure, but it's so much about Patha and the Cryptus that it's kind of like a responsibility of setting up another expansion, but in the time frame of only 3 updates.
Yeah.
So it does kind of feel a little bit, in terms of character writing, I'm like, I like Patha. I like how she was used in the expansion. She was very mysterious. You were always around her voice. But then in this, it's like, it feels very quick, very hastily with her overall objective.
There's too many characters in this expansion.
Also, nothing has happened. We've taken over a couple of areas and she's killed 2 people. Nothing has happened. Nothing.
No.
Her character hasn't evolved.
Not much.
I don't feel any more sympathetic towards her. She hasn't shown that she has any great compassion for the people around her. She hasn't shown anything other than ruthless determination to become the next person who sits on the throne.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm kind of liking it though, in a strange way. Which is why I enjoyed this update more than the previous one. I also wasn't here for the story episode, so I guess I'll take a little bit.
No, you're good.
I do enjoy that. Through the expansion, I was like, oh, Patha is someone that I'm trusting. My initial reaction was, she is someone who is a little bit strange, a little bit different, but overall I can trust her, and it seems that her cause is good. But as we're kind of continuing into this realm of Nayos, as you mentioned, Fornax, there's no apparent writing, which means like that is showing her as like this benefactor and this savior of the Cryptus. She does feel very like throne. She's going for the power and the throne to have control, which in the second update, when we were taking Labris as prisoner, when they were deciding to either kill her or take her as prisoner, that's kind of when I started to look at Peitha a little bit differently. And I was like, oh, so she's not entirely good. She's not trying to necessarily save the Cryptus for the sake of saving. I feel like there's this other power dynamic with her character that I appreciated more with this current story update. So I did like that. I was at least entertained by that a little bit more.
What did you, because you're right, you weren't here for the story episode. So what did you feel similarly to, you must know what Fornax thought about the story episode by now.
I did go back and I listened, and I agree on many of the points in terms of like, it's the setup and the actual written story seems so grand, and then you get to meet with Nephis in this update, and then you go to try to kind of overthrow the queen, and it's literally just you and Nephis and like 4 other people, and it's very bare bones. So I thought that was a great point to bring up, is like the story itself is rising to this big moment, but then in game it doesn't have the same impact, and how it is very much kind of abridged in terms of the amount of time and effort required to do justice to this large of a story of going into a new realm to kind of overtake a tyrannical king.
Yeah.
It is a lot. It is a big bite to chew on, and there's, you're not really able to chew on it as much as you kind of want to.
Yeah.
But I still found myself a little bit more appreciative of this second update over the very first update, in terms of just like the lore books that you would find. That little character moment for Peitha where she did kind of just become a little bit more devious. It was a bit more exciting than just like kill her, on to the next one. It was like there was some strategy behind it, which I appreciated.
What did you think about the fight though? Sorry, go on, Fornax, you asked first.
Sorry, I was going to say, I feel like the writers have forgotten that you need to have as much time for the antagonist as the protagonist. In order for us to care, in order for us to be invested in all of this, then we have to care about the bad guy. And none of the bad guys have had enough screen time for us to actually care about them.
I 100% agree.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, the entrance of Eparch, what did you think about that? I have feelings.
Well, I had feelings too. And I went back and I think you all are talking about how Eparch as a villain was diminished so greatly. He doesn't even talk to you in the map really, only very briefly. And like, this is his territory. He should be kind of the main presence there. But in terms of the story's exposure and introduction to like our first sight of Eparch, it was a big missed opportunity to not have that be a cinematic moment where you have the creative control of fade or cut to black and then a fully cutscened story beat, which they did do in the core expansion with Ceres and Peitha, which was really nice when like Peitha goes underneath Ceres and is kind of playfully devious and is very off-putting. But with the camera work and the way that it was introduced, there were moments that you could easily miss, or I know they want to keep you in the story, they want to keep you in the gameplay all the time or as much as they can, but I think for the main villain, take that moment, if you can, with budgeting and your resources, take that moment to really shine a huge spotlight of him bursting out of a rift and having that presence. And you can do so much with the camera work. You could pan up onto Peitha's face, onto Frode's face, onto Arena's face. You could pan to the apparent Cryptus that were in the arena there to show that moment, and give it its due. But it wasn't. Yeah. It was a little flat from my perspective.
Yeah. It's where is the Machinima team? Because the Machinima team have done so much to bring so many brilliant moments to life. It could have been a Palawa Joko moment where at the end he traps us And he lured, and we literally we were in that same trap. If you look at the character model at that moment, we're kind of braced there. And he should have come in. He should have swept in larger than life. He should have lorded it over everyone, strutting his pointy, weird pin-like stuff around the arena. He should have, and there should have been like a huge emotive moment when the woman, the creature that he loved, it sacrifices herself to him, and the gravitas of that and the weight of that, and if we remember, he isn't just the bad guy of the epilogue of Nayos, which I think is a more appropriate term for what we're getting to play through, is the epilogue of the expansion and not a separate story. He has been the antagonist of the entirety of SOTO. He is the one who was preying on Isgarin. He is the inciting incident for all of the invasions that are happening, that have been plaguing the Wizard's Court since he got kicked out on his ass by Isgarin. So he's the big bad. It wasn't Saris. He's the big bad. So where's that? Where is that being shown to us and displayed to us? And where is the gravitas of that being lived large and gained?
Isn't that like maybe? See, I had a question when we were talking about this, and I have some thoughts, but the problem is, I think, with my thought is that you just literally said it, right? You've been sold on the fact that this is the main baddie. This is the baddie. This is the person. So even if they do a bait and switch on us and Payfer turns into be the big boss baddie, then that still doesn't make sense, because he was still sold as the big one, the main one, and it's all been about them the whole time, right? Taking over, etc., etc. Like, the reason this is all happening is him, I thought, at least. And maybe we're going to find out that's going to be different, but then if we do, then it's just going to be kind of weird anyway. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I just...
There was a bit of disconnect from like expectation versus payoff, because you never got to see Eparch, and you only had his voice and the tales of what he has done before. So as a player, you begin to create an image of what you expect of someone that fits that profile. And I think it was actually kind of clever that Eparch himself is kind of frail looking and very thin. He's not this blubberous, all-consuming figure that we kind of were expecting, because he oftentimes will eat the Cryptus, and so I was expecting this very large behemoth,
I thought he was
going to
be the meta
Saris.
boss. You know, when we saw that meta boss, like the first time ever, like I didn't even know.
Morris?
I thought that was going to be him. And I was like, because I thought that would have been cool, because if he's this massive beast that's just popping through, like, and then we would have seen them in different meta events always popping up. I don't like that. Because that is the kind of more of the creature, right, that you would expect. So it's like kind of feasting on things rather than just this agent, I guess. That's what
it's like kind of more small spider-like, very kind of pointy character. But I actually do like that they went with that direction. It kind of subverts expectation, but it also comes back to paying off on the gravitas of the moment. And when you look at that final moment for episode 2, Eparch enters the format, also thinking of staging, of how you're going to stage like a movie cinematic moment. Labrys is chained off center of that circular platform, and then Eparch, who's supposed to be this main villain, I think he enters not center of that, but like at an angle, which also reads like you're not the main event. If you were to be centered and like or levitating into that expanse with a giant eye behind him, it would have had this like truly king-like presence. I think the staging of this area also didn't help. No, because it should be. It should be intentional, but it kind of feels like, oh, we'll have Labrys at an off angle, and then we'll have Eparch enter like at where the rocks are, which is like, but this is the king. Why are we entering it? Why is he being positioned there? There was nothing really big behind him. There was a great expanse. You could have had him like centered with the big citadel behind him to really create that image if you weren't going to do a cinematic. But it was just kind of everything didn't really pay off on the gravitas of who Eparch was said to be. I felt like in terms of a presence, not just the figure, but the presence.
I agree completely, but that's everywhere. So we get to see the Queen the first time, and she arrives, and she is the Queen, and she has got her entourage, which is exactly the same model as the General, which is disappointing. And
that's right.
there's no cutscene. There's no even a moment where they take control of the camera to have some interesting storytelling moments with perspective of where we are and focus and anything like that. And you have these moments on map where Patho is looking off into the distance, and her voice actor is doing fantastic work, but her in-game avatar is just stood there staring off at a wall, and they're having conversations with each other, but they're not. They're just narrating into the aether, and we're supposed to be. And this is a story instance. This is not just on the map, as characters are going to character on the map. This is in a story instance where they're supposed to be selling us the story, and I feel like there's such a disconnect between the writing and the intention of the writers and the ideas of this grand world and these big monsters and these nefarious Machiavellian happenings, and how it's being delivered in game. And it's just missing, and they need a dedicated machinima team. If they don't already have one, or whatever has happened to them, because there were fantastic cutscenes in End of Dragons. Some of the best cutscenes we've ever had to give characters the depth and the scope and the scale that they deserve. And now we have throughout Secrets of the Obscure, I felt like we've had less, and in Nayos there's just none. They're gone.
I think this really would have.
It
would have really, I think, at least felt more impactful if there was a machinima cutscene for this specific introduction.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm just trying to think about because there was more at the beginning. There was more at the beginning. Or was there?
For Secrets of the Obscure?
Yeah. I'm just trying to remember now. Like, I don't know if I really...
I think of the Zoja when Mabon got...
Was there one for Leia as well?
There was when they first got to the Wizard's tower, and Mabon was like, you had to go around and find all the runes, and then Mabon started to show that he was kind of being possessed a little bit. There was a cutscene for that, I think.
Oh, okay. Right.
There was one where he died.
Oh, yeah, okay. I wonder if it is like is it a resources thing? It can't be though, can it? Can it?
I mean,
must
probably.
Be,
probably, yeah.
I mean, it could be a choice as well. I mean, it must be partly. I don't know. Interesting. I didn't really think about that, because for him specifically, we didn't get one, and that seems weird. But then I'm like, shoot, we didn't get many others anyway, like you said, and I'm just like, actually kind of, I'm flabbergasted. Actually,
there's even a cutscene for the Omnitas meta, which great pointing that out, Smudgem, because that's just for a meta, which I kind of liked, because we hadn't had one of those since like Heart of Thorns when we fight Mordremoth.
Proud robot moment, which is kind of strange.
Very strange.
I'll take any cutscenes we get, but yeah, there just seems to be. It's such a great tool for storytelling, especially if you don't have the time to do a lot of the work on the map, or you don't have the time to fully flesh it out. A couple of really good cutscenes, and not even the beautiful handcrafted like painting and style ones, just like literally having the character models talk and emote in a scene where you can direct them and there can be like expression and a continuation of the story, that can go a huge amount of the way to kind of setting the scene and pulling people into the narrative and spinning that fictive dream, which it's just not there. And I don't understand, because Guild Wars has great storytelling. And the people there, the writers have made they've made interesting, compelling characters. They've made this beautiful, interesting, compelling world. And yet we're skating above the ice on it, rather than even allowing the basics of like character development.
We talked about that, didn't we? So it was the big disconnect. You talked about this a bit ago, about the in-game to the acting, if they're kind of, and almost like, you know, how that's represented in the game. Like, it feels like there has been like a little bit of a disconnect, right? Like, they're not almost, it doesn't feel like they're talking to each other much. No. Like, that's the feeling I get, like, of, oh, they're kind of not that they're not, because obviously they are, because they have to. Like, they wouldn't, you know, it'd just be really weird if they weren't. That would make no sense, because otherwise how would they know what to produce? But it doesn't feel like maybe there is a disconnect, or there's something feels off or different. And I don't know if it's just because of the cadence of how this is going, and because, again, resources, so they're limiting themselves, because if you think about it, they're actually doing another expansion at the moment as well as the other updates. Like, they already must be going on to the updates for next year by now, story-wise and content-wise and everything. Like, they must already be there. So, like, there's no way that cannot take its toll on people, or even just the company as a whole, because they're not a AAA company. Like, we're comparing ESO's production, not value, but like, you know, of what they do a year, right? So they do the expansion, which is a smaller scale, which is what Guild Wars 2 do now. You know, the map. I mean, it's not really much extra. It's not really. It's less, I would say, maybe even story and map wise than we got from the others. But you know, there's more time. So in ESO, it's like a map / 2 maps, depending, because normally it's an underground map or a side map or whatever. And then you get like 4 dungeons and some other stuff, right? And they are ZeniMax. They are under Bethesda, or they're over Bethesda, sorry. And they are big. They've got the people, they've got the resources, they can do that stuff. And I think, and the amount of quests they put into that, it's like they produce a game's worth of quests nearly every year. It's kind of ridiculous. Well, not a game's worth, but like it's a good chunk, right? With the amount of voice acting and everything else, you know, everything is voice acted. And they still struggle, I think, sometimes to produce something which is of quality each year. And it's become so predictable and boring, honestly, that I've just gone. I'm not in the Elder Scrolls Steam team anymore, actually, because I just couldn't log into the game because it was just too predictable for me. Even if the story, I love the story, I love the game, I love the creators, I love the people that make it. Like, it just became too samey for me, and I think that put me off a lot. Also, just I don't have time, and I still play it, but like I just didn't want to create content for it anymore. I think this is starting to show already, and I'm concerned. I think this is a massive learning experience, and it's going to go 2 ways. They're either going to flip the switch, and next year it's just going to be epic, which is what I think is going to happen, or it's going to continue this way.
Can I clarify my position? Can I clarify my position? So, if I'd paid my £20 or $25 and only got the initial arc that we got with SOTO, that is money well spent. I feel like I got a lot of bang for my buck.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am, even if they never gave us Nayos, I am incredibly happy. I think that I have got enough game for £20. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It costs $200 to play World of Warcraft for a year with an expansion. About $10 a month, $12 a month for subscription, $50 for an expansion. So £20, $25 for a whole ass expansion is amazing. The thing that I'm saying is, you've advertised that we're getting 2 full storylines. We're not. This is an epilogue. This is an epilogue. This is bridging content. This is whatever name you want to put it. This is not a full narrative storyline. At least this is not what I would look at as a Guild Wars 2 full narrative storyline, because proper storylines have much more depth, they have much more scope, they have much more character development, and they have a whole plethora of things behind them that are synonymous with quality, okay? From the voice acting to the cutscenes to everything. So I don't class... That's not to say that this isn't good content. The maps are fun, the characters are interesting, the voice acting is good, but this is not a fully fledged second storyline. So please don't sell it as that. And if we're going to, and just call it what it is, we're getting a full expansion with a small epilogue at the end to bridge to the next one with fun maps, new metas, new gear. And every 12 months we're going to do this. Have fun. That's fine. That's good. Excellent. Well worth the money.
Yeah. I think I hope going into expansion 5 that no matter if they decide to treat the story in its entirety as the base expansion having its complete own ending and then 3 other updates just being like branching storylines, or if they want to go like the expansion has like a soft endpoint, but the other 3 updates will still relate back to what was happening in the main expansion. That could also be an interesting strategy to go with. But regardless, I think that they should really be treating these with the proper amount of scope and detail to understand, like, oh, we realize what we could do in the amount of time that we had with those 3 updates. Let's not try to make it as broad as like establishing an entirely new realm with 3 months of breaks in between these content patches. And I really wonder how it would be if we ended up not going to Nayos, if we still stuck around on Tyria and just explored more. Because I think there's more pre-established lore in the main world of Tyria that they could have pulled from, and it would have been more satisfying, because there's too many questions that I have and too many interests regarding Nayos and the realm of the Cryptus for it to really be delivered upon in these content updates.
So they're bitten off too much for themselves.
Yeah. I don't.
Right.
This system of planning, I think, is smart, but it was maybe a bit too daring, too ambitious and daring. I think for the first go around.
I think that is true. Sorry, go on.
So they've got enough content, they've got enough ideas and story that Nayos could be the prologue to a whole expansion about the Cryptus. That the story is there, that they could have actually fleshed it out into a standalone, fully formed expansion of its own. And I think that it would have done the writers justice if they'd done that. So it's I feel like I'm hopeful that this is just them cutting their teeth on this new format. That's the hope.
But I also wonder if they realize that, if they know, and that this entire setup with Eparch and Paitha is perhaps them setting the Cryptus up for them to do an expansion about them in the future with much greater depth to it.
Do you want that?
Maybe Paitha. I'm kind of interested in Paitha becoming the villain, where Paitha does fulfill on her very strange moral code, where it really is like she's a very uncertain ally, and I like that. And
Sylvanas
at a certain point, the commander and Paitha have to part ways. So how is that going to look? And I'd be interested in Paitha becoming more of a villainous archetype in the future for them to maybe explore. But then it's also like treading old ground.
I'm kind of done with the Cryptus, honestly.
And the Cryptus, how satisfying are they as like a race? Because this is the first intro. If you don't make the first impression good, do you want to go back to it? I don't know.
I'm kind of over the Cryptus, unfortunately.
I mean, I'd like her to be some sort of Madam Web for the multiverse of the Mist. That would be nice.
Yeah. I don't think she needs the Cryptus either.
I don't think that she does. And there's throughout the I don't know whether it's just me, but throughout the expansion, we've had these like narrative choices that we can make for different replies, and there's never been a one where I don't trust her, I don't think that we should do this, and to give compelling reasons not to, because I don't trust Paitha. And it would be foolish to trust somebody whose entire species is facing extinction, because in a moral capacity, what would they not do to get their outcome? Even if it's a selfish outcome, they're facing extinction, so all bets are off, right? And our character seems to be quite naive, and I think that's kind of crazy, considering all the things that we've been through and all the things that we've lost and the pain and the suffering. You don't kind of come out of that as a fresh-faced wanderer. You're gonna be somewhat jaded, especially after we got like murdered by Balthazar. We know what higher powers and how malevolent and capricious they can be.
I mean, that expansion was very good, like story-wise. I mean, the maps-wise, I mean, you know, they were very flat. They served a purpose, right, for the mounts. Like that's what the maps were for, right? And they look nice and they're okay. They're not the best maps in the game, let's be honest. But you know, that's my personal opinion. But you know, anyway. But the story, but like Balthazar was like, that whole thing was like, it was set up well, but it was very much like a package, right? Like other than just the setup from the previous season, which I just think was good. Like it was just, I went back to I had to kill 100 in Forge or the Forged or whatever, right? And there is a story step where you basically just have a shed load of Balthazar's forces attacking your undead peeps. I can't remember what their names are, Jesus. But you're basically, you've morphed into one of these generals of Joko, and you're basically defending against the Forged. Risen. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And the
Awakened?
It was the Awakened, yeah. Was it the Awakened?
I think Risen is Itan. I think Awakened is Joko.
Oh.
Yeah, Awakened.
You might be right.
But you know, the bad ones. And the bad ones, not the good ones who are on our side. I can't remember. Anyway, Morning Crescent, maybe. The point is, there was, and this is why. So everyone who needs to get 100 Forge killed, go and do the story step. It's called. I'll find it while I'm explaining, because that's not important. Beast of War. It's chapter 11 on Path of Fire, and you have to stop Balthazar's campaign to destroy Kralkatorrik. And then I was like, oh my god, that in itself is a story. We're defending a bad against a bad for the good of everything. And I was just like, wow, this story was so cool. Like, all of this was just so good. And then there were like literally hundreds of Forged coming down this path as you're just fighting against them. And you have to kill like 100 Forged to continue on. And I'm just like, yeah, this feels like a proper little battle. This is wicked. And then I was like, oh yeah, that battle we fought against the Queen of Nayos was like 7 people. It's like, this is like, whoa, so good. And I just looking at the chapters, do you know what I mean? Like there is just so much to Path of Fire. Like if I look at every chapter, like mostly every chapter was just very enthralling and fun and enjoyable. And even the Heart of Thorns, I would say most of that story was pretty impactful. Like you think about the cutscenes in that you were talking about earlier, Crown Harold, Phonics. You know, with oh my god, why is everyone's names missing? Thingy's mum. And like you just people in the pods and you know
Air.
Yeah, Air, that's it. And how some of the main characters how they're trapped, and you really feel like there's danger and like people are gonna die, and you feel like you may actually encounter some major loss in the game. Even though there were so many characters in that story potentially, they really zeroed in well on some of them. and they told a story, whether we like it or not, like to a degree where I think like most people connected to it. Like even though people don't like Bram that much, like you still felt for him. I did. I totally did. And you felt for Air, and you felt for the commander. Maybe, but like, you know, still, you felt for him, right? It made him
look like an adult. If he looked like the 16-year-old boy that he was, I think that we would have a
I think Norns just like that, aren't they, though? I mean, Norns just grow up. They're a little child, and then... Do we see Norn child? Anyway, that's another
They go
podcast.
from childhood to adulthood. There's no teenager.
They just pop.
It just immediately...
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, if I go through the story, like, even in the main story, right? I still like the main story. I still think it was actually pretty cool. Like, there was some genuine choices in there, right? There is still things from the main story I think they should bring back. But I'm just not that bothered. I'm just not bothered. Like I said this last time we were talking about the story. I'm just like, it's cool. And I really like the maps and the events. I actually think the story in the map is very cool. Like, I love the idea of the villagers and how they're being tortured and punished. And there's a sense of oppression in the map against the inhabitants of Nayos.
There was an actual villain. Cool. I feel like this is like the expansion. Like, it would have been if in Path of Fire, you never actually see Balthazar in any of the moments. He just continues through the maps and you just hear about what he's done. And you're just, it's like an expansion based around essentially chasing the villain to eventually see him.
Yeah.
And it would not have had this same effect. I think Path of Fire is a great example of how impactful it can be to see a villain early on, or at least have much more physical contact to continually be reminded that, oh, this is what we are doing. This is what
we saw him before the expansion as well, didn't we?
We even saw him before the expansion was announced. So
revealing who he was, the whole spectacle and mystery around that was absolutely amazing. And by the end of it, I wanted to kill him quite badly. I wanted to put him in the ground.
Awful.
Yes.
Like really like that's if you hate that character, like you're just, that's well written, you know. If you even like you to the point where, you know, people are outside and they're like, you're just an awful person. Like, you know, people that really believe TV shows to be real for some reason, and they just like go outside and insult actors. Don't do that. That's awful. But like, you know, it means they've written the characters well, and it's so believable, and they connect to it. They just can't even like, I mean, they're stupid, but like, but it really is that. You're so right. And it feels disconnected. So isn't that's the thing there? It's disconnection. So we were talking about disconnection from the story and how they were telling it in the map between the graphics and everything else, like the map, the actual gameplay, and then the disconnect in the narrative, and we're talking about some disconnection in many different areas here. So that's a good point. Really good point.
I'm like, they haven't shown me anything to really like hate Eparch.
No, I kind of just
like
wanted
if you
to
would
see
have like
him.
busted out into that arena and then like soul siphoned all the cryptids that were just standing there, I would have been like, oh, okay, no,
so cool.
No, he really is not just all talk. He actually walks the walk. But it was just kind of like, let my wife go. And
you could have come in and munched on all of them. Like, you're right. That's a really solid idea. I love that idea. That's great. Like, come in, kill everyone, like, then kill your wife. You know, I mean, that makes sense, I guess. Like,
I mean, he's even conciliatory towards Patha. Come on, stop misbehaving. Enough of this nonsense.
He's like, I'll have a bargain. I'll let you go free.
I don't feel like it sounded like she meant so much to him as well, but then we didn't really get the whys and the reasoning. It was just kind of like, oh well, I'm done with you kind of thing. I'm just going to eat you instead. And then it's just really odd. It was a real missed opportunity, but time and everything else. Like we're not like crapping on Arena peeps. We're just talking about this as the guts of what it is, right? The story, we're being critical. But we're not like insulting them or anything. I don't think it's not about the talent. We know they're talented. There's different things going on here. There's different areas. Like they're doing something very different. Different cadence, different ways of telling story as well. And I think they're just experimenting. And I do believe that there's going to be change to this because I actually think they need to. Honestly,
I'm just wondering where we're going next.
You know what I'm thinking? That's a good point. That's something maybe we could chat a little bit about. I love how I was saying this is going to be a short one and it's turned out to be a normal length podcast.
All right, everyone, it's been a lovely podcast. I'll see y'all later.
We end up chatting. That's why I was like, we can do a podcast. It's not going to be difficult. Should I tell you what I genuinely think they may do in the future and they should do, and it would be a crying shame if they didn't. I actually think they could do an expansion with Joko coming back. I want an expansion for Joko.
He busts out of Oreen's stomach and is like, "Hey guys, I'm back." Da, 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 da.
I don't know, but like she's resting. Maybe he snuck out for a bit. I don't know.
He just like crawls out of her mouth. That'd be kind of sick, though.
I don't know. Like it's something. I just want him back so bad. Like I really do. I know he's had a good ending. I think we can lay
him to rest.
No.
I wouldn't say a good ending, but like we could lay him to rest. Like
I mean, he got munched, he got eaten. It helped with the story later on. I thought that was a really good connection, actually.
He has been killed a lot. What could be interesting is if he has one last resurrection in him, and now the stakes are high, and he's mortal, and he comes back, and he's trying to rally his forces and trying to take over and trying to kill us, kill us specifically for revenge because we have ended his immortal reign. That would be cool. That could be cool. And him going after Oreen, trying to find out where she's hiding, where she's sleeping to regain his immortality. That could be fun. That could be interesting. But I mean, it'd be a hard story for coherence, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility.
Listen to what Smudgem says. There you go. I'm going with that. I'm hanging on that one. I mean, it does make sense. Elder Dragons do release magic when they rest. Oh.
True.
Fruit's like, nah.
It does. I just feel like it would be a little...
I know what you mean. I think he's had his outing, maybe. But I do really like Joko. I think he's so good.
It'd be too loose. It kind of would just feel like fandom, like fan canon. It'd be like, oh, and he's back. And it was like, what's up? And, I think if there was a situation in where there was a ritual or some type of structure surrounding it, where there is the fuel and then there's the spark of the fire to create the resurrection of Joko, I could get into that.
Right.
But if it was just like his spirit and magic forms again in the sands and who popped up again, maybe in like a different body, but he's like,
I'd forget about all that. I wouldn't even care. I'd just be like, it's Joko. Joko's a legend. We need a big bad that is awesome back in the game. I would like...
I think the problem is...
Bob.
I was going to say, I think the problem is he didn't get his day in the sun. He didn't get enough of an expansion for him. You could have an entire expansion about Joko. And of course, it could be the people who refuse to stop worshipping him, who bring him back from the dead, who sacrifice themselves in some sort of awful kind of like ritualist sacrifice. And that could be the inciting incident. And that would be at least coherent. But I think everyone was disappointed that he arrived back in the game, this legendary figure from the Elder Scrolls of Guild Wars 2, and he was again one and done. We wasn't enough Palawa Joko in our story, I don't think.
He was.
I do agree about that.
He's such a good character. He's
yeah.
He's just a really good. I mean, that actually brings up something. So Smudgem says, I think Joko's return could be a mini expansion part 2 of the Path of Fire. I mean, I like the idea of them going back to other expansions and having an expansion on top of that tells a further story. But it's a new story. Do you know what I mean? Like visiting, because Krufi says something about going back into Tyria, like, you know, instead of going to Nayos. Like maybe they could do a little bit more of that and turn, so rather than always, because we've always talked about like creating new content all the time and maps, like just rejigging a lot of the original maps in different ways, like whether or not it's a permanent change or not. I mean, that would be very complicated to do anyway, and obviously people are still playing the game, and how would you do that? But I don't know. What would you both like to see? Is like we could end on this, but like
they
could go on.
They do have a few storylines that have been left open in like the regions that we've gone to in the expansions.
Mm-hmm.
The desert being one of them, with like the remaining, if there are, you know, more fervent Joko supporters, the Zaishin, which I think there's been like some statements that they're still around, but they're redirecting their belief system.
Right.
In Kantha, we have the mysterious magic at, I think, Raisu Palace, is that what it is? And also the tension between the speakers and the Brotherhood is still kind of there, bubbling.
Mm-hmm.
But we just went to Kantha. So I don't think we're gonna go back to Kantha anytime soon. And then we're also Maguma Jungle, Bloodstone, White Mantle, Shining Blade, Chalk.
Wow, I don't know.
The Exalted. There could still be some stories in the jungle, but I think the desert is maybe the most, like, the go-to one. That I would maybe see, or Malik's tree. I think that actually the one story that I would like to see the most is like Malik's tree scenario, but I think they were probably talking about it under the context of Heart of Thorns and Mortarmoth. So maybe we would see that in like a fractal, unless they just rewrite the story and it has nothing to do with Mortarmoth.
True. Someone did say something. Kum, again, I think I'm saying your name wrong. I'm so sorry. But did say something about that Silvari and revisiting them. I mean, it could be interesting to go do more of a story race centric, like we kind of saw with the Char, right? In different areas as well.
Or the Asur going back to the depths, to their homeland, now that Primordus is no longer a thing. What other mysteries lurk underground?
Okay.
I want an ocean expansion with the Lagos. Yeah, that's what I want.
Yes! Oh, I like it. I like it a lot.
An ocean expansion with the Lagos.
Because we were promised, so when the Icebrood Saga came out, they did this beautiful, amazing, like, cutscene thing, introduction, and there was a ship being wrecked, and basically like darkness. They're falling into darkness of the ocean, and there's a lot of lore around monstrous evil in the ocean, and it could be linked to the Canthan Imperial Palace, perhaps in that capacity, because it is submerged, as it were. But yeah, we have this darkness in the ocean that isn't Suwon, and we have the Crate and the Lagos, who are these aquatic species, and we could just go mad with that. That would be amazing. That would get my money.
Totally forgot about that, but that is a really great idea.
And the cherry on top, let us play a Lagos character.
Yes, and environmentally, you could have a completely new just palette to play with and really have that sense of newness.
Yeah.
You can have like underwater, they have like bubbles. It doesn't have to be all underwater content. But with their new tech of being able to like implement pockets of water that are not just on the floor of the maps.
Yeah.
You could have some really dynamic stuff with that.
I mean, there's lots of
Sorry, go on.
Code and Teng. Just let us have new races, and let us accept the law limitations that come with that. So there will be some disconnect playing through if we want to play the original story. Sad day for us. But we get to play a new race. I'll take the L on some parts of the story being having a little less cohesion.
I agree.
And if you want, let them share different player areas. So if it's a Tengu, then let them start in pick a play area that we already have.
Just max them out to level whatever. And
Yeah.
like you don't even have to level
Yeah.
them from like World of Warcraft did it.
Leveling
other games
in
did it.
WoW, or
Yeah,
not WoW,
well,
leveling in Guild Wars
Yeah.
2 is kind of not the most important element
Not
or
at all,
feature
really.
of the
No.
game.
I mean, it's
Indeed
good to
not.
do it for the experience because it's just fun and it's really sells the game and what it is. But like, it is like you say,
Yeah.
it's like you can still do that and then play a new class. I feel like you're right. I mean, I really feel like it would bring. And it doesn't have to be anything that's wild look wise,
No.
well, it's so changing. Like, and Reader Geek said it in the chat as well, like more code and lore. Like, it's a Norn with
Yeah.
a different head. I mean, like, I know maybe helmets and stuff, so just don't allow them. Just don't have helmets on Coden. Like, you know, just don't have them. And
Yeah.
don't have shoulder pieces if it interact. Like, take pits away. Like, you know, it just give you options. You know, I don't know.
I mean, as long as the player is upfront about the limitations, if you play
Yeah.
this class, you are going to have problems with this, or they are not physically equipped to do that. But the Coda lore is also an amazing one. They could have a whole expansion about Coda and the connection with the Norn, because there's a lot of lore around the Codan, the Norn being a lost tribe of the Codan, and yeah, I mean, there's so many threads that you can pull. There's so many threads you can pull. Yeah, I'm hopeful, and that's one of the things that I'm hopeful about these smaller expansions, that they're going to get to explore more condensed stories, and that's what this lends itself to, I think, this format.
I agree. I mean, end of the day, we want something. I think new is always going to. I think the new shiny is always going to be the important thing. I would like to mostly see. I think, if possible, but I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing what they come up with. I think the fact that I'm not overly bothered about the rest of the expansion is a little bit concerning for me, to a degree, because I'm kind of like story-wise, I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not really that bothered. I think they're adding good features, and the weapons was really successful to a degree for most classes. I think the systems they've added, like the Astral Wardrobe, the Astral Acclaim, and all of that was really cool.
Close enough.
Yeah, I mean, adding the new legendary armor as another thing that they did was really clutch, honestly. Like, they added so much good stuff to the expansion. It's just a shame that the story mostly missed the mark for so many people. And
Maybe they're just not going to focus on story now. Maybe they're not going to focus on story now. What's that?
I don't think that's going to happen.
I think story is the only thing Guild Wars 2 really has, and for them to
Wait,
kind
what?
of
Good lord,
What?
Griff. I mean,
No,
meta
I'm
maps are
being
like.
serious.
I mean, they do so
but the
many good
maps are
things.
maps are an extension of the story in my view and under my scope.
Oh, you mean PvE content?
Yeah, PvP
Not in
content.
Nayos.
Okay, right. Okay.
Like, story is really
Story is the only thing the game
Guild
has.
Wars 2. If we're being honest, story is the most consistently delivered piece of content that Guild Wars 2 gets.
I mean,
for
metas.
years now.
Metas have been always consistent.
They're kind of lumped together because the maps will tell the story
Oh, I see.
of what the story is.
Fine.
So, with it being really the only content that we consistently get on the kind of a schedule,
Yeah.
I do think that it has been disappointing to see the level of execution that SOTO, at least these couple past updates, has been able to reach. Because we're not getting things like dungeons or raids or strike missions at the level or cadence that, you know, other MMOs could pump out. PvP and World versus World has not received updates. So all you really have to kind of go off of is the quality of the story and the quality of the story shown in the maps and the events. And it's just been unfortunate. It's been one of the weaker hitting ones in the past couple years.
And I think someone said in chat as well, Mr. Mirror, something said in chat, like only a sequel will kind of do the game justice or whatever. Like, you know, I think sequels, the game is starting to look, you know, it's showing its age. I think it's starting to show its age. But with the art style, I don't think it's, WoW, for example, has continued. I think it's okay still. Like, I don't think it's like, you could probably go for another 5 years, fine, right?
Yeah, I think this year was the first year where I was like, okay. There's always the point where it starts to tick over. But I think it does have an artistic viewpoint, which definitely helps because it's not trying to be photorealistic.
No.
So it still gets by, and I think it'll get by for a few more years before they consider doing anything else.
I don't think they need to do an expansion. Like the combat, the things that make the game, the things that make a game good are there. Like the combat is... There's no other MMORPG that does combat like Guild Wars 2. It just and I'm saying like quality wise, and that's opinion based, right? Like, because we still like things like tab targeting in games and stuff, but that doesn't feel really innovative. Like Guild Wars 2 does mounts the best. There is no other game that does mounts best. WoW tried with their dragon thing. It's just weird. I don't like it. It's all right, but it's better than just a normal mount that runs about it, you know. It's got realm v realm combat. It's got the best PvP systems in any MMORPG as well. It literally does. The game is in the top 5 list for most people in MMORPGs and is not a AAA company. Like, you know, we're always doing when we do the comparisons for ArenaNet, we're always comparing it to ESO, which is ZeniMax and Bethesda, World of Warcraft, Blizzard, Final Fantasy, Square Enix. You know, what are the other MMORPGs that we could compare it to? It's pretty wild, like how we compare it always to these really big games. But because that's the only people we can compare it to, because it is actually very successful in what it does. It just has these moments. And then when you go over to Blizzard and World of Warcraft, some of their story is just dog awful. It's just awful. Like, you know, people crap all over their expansions and stuff sometimes, you know? Like, the last, what was it, Shadowlands?
Shadowlands was
good
dire,
lord.
Dire.
What was that about? Like, it started off pretty okay, and then something happened, and I was just like, I'm not going to spoil it, because I resubbed a month or so ago, because I really just wanted to know what the outcome was. And then more stuff came up about Blizzard, and I was just like, I'm just done. I just can't anymore. And I was just like, why is this so bad? And then Dragonflight was quite good.
Yeah.
And I will probably play the newest expansion when that comes out for the purposes of a podcast. That there's going to be a legitimate reason that I play it, because, you know, I can't really bear giving them money. But at the same time, we are not like being rude and mean about ArenaNet and stuff. It's more about being critical and that's what the podcast is. That's
a
what
consumer
podcast
review.
is. We talk about it all the time. So it's not like just want to reiterate the fact that we love the ArenaNet crew very much. They're very important to us and what we've been doing in our lives for even the last like 10 years. You know, we will make content around the game and looking forward to just...
I mean, we wouldn't be talking about it if we didn't care.
I mean, you spend so much time talking about this game, all of us, in so many different ways. Like, you know, it's not for money. It's not just for money. I
kind of feel sad for them, because SOTO in and of itself, as a contained expansion, just taken in isolation, has been great. It's been a really great, especially when you consider how much it cost. It's been great, and I would have been happy if I'd paid twice that much, to be honest, because they have undercharged for their expansions in the past. Path of Fire, with all those mounts and all that content and the raids, and Jesus God, it should have been. It would have warranted $60.
In hindsight, that was wild.
That
was a wild price point.
That's crazy.
In terms of it being like $30 or something.
That's crazy, right? But in terms of, but my major complaint is expectation of the community based on the description of the product at the end and the delivery, or the failure to deliver what they had wanted to with Nayos. And I think if they just framed Nayos differently, this would be a completely different conversation, because this is an epilogue or a prologue for the next expansion, but it's not a complete narrative on its own. And that's my main critique.
Oh, I think this, yeah. Okay. We're going to have a bit of a break for a week next week, just because I like to have a break for a while, because I like to have a Friday sometimes. And also at the moment, it is fairly quiet in terms of things. Even though we can talk about Guild Wars 2 and things till the cows come home, it is nice to have a break so we can come back a little bit fresh. No? Or maybe we can talk about sandwiches. Oh, boo. Okay.
No, I'm gonna try it again. Moo.
Oh, moo.
I gotta do it in a British accent. Moo.
It's very country.
Do British cows have a British accent?
Yes.
Wow.
Sure. Yeah, they all drink Earl Grey tea as well.
Do they milk? When you milk a cow, does tea come out?
Absolutely. This is
No,
the
I've
promise.
milked a cow before. That's not true.
Moo.
You're not squeezing in the right place, darling.
It wasn't. It wasn't a bull. Don't worry. We're getting back to gonads. We got back. We're back.
Oh.
Cows actually do have accents. Wait, really? Wait, no. Wait, what? Let's not talk about that.
I'm so educated. I'm so smart. I don't even know it.
Yeah.
Moo.
I'm googling this in a minute. I need to know.
Must Google.
Okay. Outro. Chris, unless you want to talk about anything else very quickly.
I'd like to talk about your car's extended warranty. We've been trying to reach you. Why have you not been picking up your phone? Do you not have a phone? Do you not have a phone, guys?
Is that a World of
Y'all
Warcraft?
only accept
Is that a World
letters?
of Warcraft statement? Do you remember that? About
What?
Diablo. Everyone's got a phone. Oh, dear.
What's a kilometer?
It's less than a mile.
We got feet and inches. I don't know what that is. To me it makes sense.
Feet and inches?
To me,
It's
it
a
really
kilometer.
does. It does
a
make
mile.
sense. But like a system where it's divided into tens makes so much more sense than what America has done.
I like kilometers though as well. It's okay.
What's a kilometer? What's a
but
Celsius?
what about Fahrenheit?
I don't
Fahrenheit
drink
kills me.
Celsius.
When you start going to stone, that's
Fahrenheit
when
is
it starts to
weird.
get wild.
Stone is wild though. Whoever made stone, I have a friend named Stone, so in my brain it sounds weird. That is strange as a weight system. What's it like? 7 pounds is 1 stone.
14.
Oh yeah, 7 is half a stone.
On me.
Look at me, multicultural. Yeah, that is weird. But for me, Fahrenheit makes sense. But once again, the 0 to 100 scale makes more sense. But then when they're like, oh, it was like, is 28 degrees Celsius like hot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
What's like the? Because you're like halfway to boiling, so yeah, that
Under
would be.
10 is like not
Freezing.
great.
Yeah. Freezing.
Still freezing.
Is
0
like,
is still freezing.
Yeah, 0. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the human body, is that like, is it 25, 26 degrees Celsius?
So normal
8.
temperature is around about 35 to 37 degrees.
Okay, so I was wildly off. You would be dead.
Is that?
Yeah.
Oh.
30 degrees Celsius, human?
In the UK, we use all that's Celsius. So we use all the scientific stuff. So you do your date.
We use science
Weird
in
as well.
England.
No, but we use the scientific
Deep
date. So
South is just evangelical stuff. What is it?
it's
Scientific Christians?
The day,
Oh, God, sorry.
the date, the month, the year. That's how we do it.
That is
you
true.
do it the other way around.
We do month,
use
date,
Celsius
year.
because
Do
that's
you
what the science
understand how
uses.
long it's taken me to get used to that? I've been here for 7 years.
I listen
still
to
get it wrong.
artists in the European Union, in the EU, over in Europe, and they will say like, oh, their music is releasing on day, month, year, and they'll like, it's like 17, 4, 24. I'm like, what is? I was like, oh,
What is this? Yeah.
Yeah, what month
So,
is
like,
that?
So many American websites I've got it wrong, so that they are, and then I go back and they're like, "What's your date of birth?" And I put in my date of birth, and they're like, "That's not what you put." And I'm like, "Oh,
yeah, you're right. Sorry.
It's too late to stop swearing now.
it is."
So, like, average human body temperature is like 36.5 degrees Celsius. In Fahrenheit, it's about
sandwich.
98.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. That sounds about right.
I have to Google Fahrenheit. It hurts my brain.
But the thing is, the lower you get in Fahrenheit, the closer it is to Celsius, which is the weird thing where it confuses me. There's no like.
It's Fahrenheit to do with boiling seawater or blood or something rather than like water. Anyway,
It's from the Roman times.
Podcast. It's from Roman times.
So the cryptids are too hot. Wait, what? Are you trying to link it back? You're linking it back to Guild Wars 2? That was a good effort. I'm not
Well
gonna lie.
done.
That was very well
try.
done. Yeah, very good try. Good attempt. All right, we're gonna end it there because we've gone into the realm of what the hell's happening. So
We're in the weeds now. We're in the weeds.
I don't know if we're ever out of the weeds, are we?
Oh, is that the conversion?
I think we're permanently there. Always just looking above, like thinking, is anyone going to see us inside this podcast and tell us to stop?
It's time to stop.
Because like, it probably is.
I gotta go play Dragon's Dogma 2 and get groceries.
I've got to do my
my
weekly stuff for Guild Wars 2 and do my World v World Rush thing, which is on right now. Ending.
I'm stalking 2 Rolleiflex cameras on eBay.
Ooh. Oh yeah, you were talking about that. Health Divers 2 as well. Loads of stuff. Have fun playing the games, everyone in chat, because I think we did an outro. Although Fornex didn't, I don't think.
No, I was the only one who got through.
Yeah, I think that's as far as we got. So Fornex.
I'm Fornex. There's no new video on my channel yet. Come back next week, it'll be there. We'll talk about this all this time again. It's great.
Period.
Please sign up. Yes.
Please sign up. What?
Sign up for the newsletter.
So, is there a newsletter?
Sign up.
Oh, when you say sign up,
to
you
my
mean
own personal
actually?
podcast.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Right.
Well, you can subscribe or something like that. Maybe.
Or follow or
Sounds good. Yeah.
So good at
Definitely all those things.
I like going after Rook's outro and intro is like, I'm Rook. You can call me. Sorry, I'm Rookery. You can call me Rook. And they basically nail it every time. And then us, we're all just like potato.
Very that.
Oh dear. Well,
So
I'll do a
bad.
little bit of an outro. I'm Jebro, twitch.tv/JebroUnity on Friday, other than next week, where you can watch the Guild Wars 2 podcast called The Lightbringers. If you do want to watch us and listen to us elsewhere, you can just Google The Lightbringers GW2 podcast. You can also find us on Spotify, where there is the video version as well, on YouTube and Spotify as well. And you can find us on many different things, like Apple iTunes, that's not what it's called. Oh god, I still suck at this. Go and watch the Guild Wars 2 podcast called The Lightbringers. That's it. Go watch it. Check us out. See you soon. If you want to support, you can do so on Spotify and all the other things. Leave us a cheeky little review. That would be appreciated because then it gets popped out there a little bit more often. Last time we spoke to Snowcrow, so if you've not watched that episode, it is really insightful and awesome, and they took the time out to come and hang out with us as well. So massively appreciate that. It was a very fun podcast. So go and have a listen. And we will see you in 2 weeks. If you're on YouTube, I don't know when that will be from that moment you watch it, but like live wise, we'll see you soon on the Lightbringers podcast. See you soon. That's not the outro thing. This is. Where's the music gone? No. Quick, I'm gonna find it. Bye.
Oh my god, it finishes we mean to go on. Shit.